Welcome to the second part of lesson 1.4. In this part of the lesson, we're going to talk about average rate of change. We have an equation for average rate of change, and this equation should look familiar. That is the equation for slope that you have seen since junior high. And that's all this is about, is calculating the slope in different circumstances. So let's go to example 1. The first kind of circumstance where you might calculate slope is if you're given an equation and an interval. If you have a problem like this, you're going to do two steps. Step 1, you're going to plug the two numbers from your interval into your equation. So I have f of negative 3, so 2 cube root negative 3 plus 3, which would be the cube root of 0, which is 0, times that by 2, is still 0. And plug the other end of the interval in. So 2 cube root of 5 plus 3, which would be 2 cube root of 8. If you don't know that one, you're welcome to type it into your calculator. Just a reminder that cube root is math and then number 4. You'll get cube root of 8 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. So that's step 1. Now these numbers that you solved for are your y values. The numbers you plugged in are your x values. Now we need to plug them into that equation. So the second y value is 4 minus the first y value is 0 divided by the second x value is 5 minus the first y value is negative 3. Be careful in that denominator because two negatives make a positive. So you get 4 over 5 plus 3, which is 4 over 8. Simplifies to 1/2. And we're done. So if you go in your homework, past the equations page right here, you're going to find these ones. 18 and 19 are homework, and we're going to do 17 just so you see one more example of this. So I plug my interval in. So my first one is negative 4. So I get negative 4 squared minus 10 times negative 4 plus 5. So that would be 16 plus 40 plus 5, which should be 40, 50, 61, I believe. And then f of 4, so positive 4 squared minus 10 times 4 plus 5. So 16 minus 40 plus 5 should be negative 40, negative 30, negative 20, negative 19, I believe. You can always double check these on your calculator. Yep, this would be 21. Okay. Yep, I think that's right. And then we have our y values here, x values there. So second y value, negative 19, minus first y value, second x value minus first x value. So you get negative 6, 7, negative 80 over 4 plus 4. So negative 80 over 8, which is negative 10. And there you go. And do the same thing on 18 and 19. Okay, go back to our average rate of change. The next kind of problem you might have is finding the average rate of change by looking at a table. Now the important part of this problem is it will tell you what points on the table are important. So this one says from 1996, I care about that one, to 2000. Care about that one. Now in a table, your right hand side is always your y values. Your left-hand side is always your x values. And now I'm going to do the same thing, same equation. So my second y value is 51.6 minus my first y value is 60.4. All over my second y value is x value, is 2000 minus my second x value, 1996. Now, I'm definitely not going to try and simplify that in my head. So let's do a calculator example real quick. Here's our calculator. I want to make a fraction, so alpha y equals number 1. The numerator of my fraction is 51.6 minus 60.4. The denominator is 2000 minus 1996. Make sure. Yep. Enter. Negative 2.2. So, just like that, if you go down to that last page again, your homework is number 22. And we'll do number 21 real quick as an example. For 21, we have our intervals. So we care about the negative 3 and the positive 3, because that's what the instructions say. From there, I want you to try this on your own. Pause the video, plug it into the equation, and then push play when you're ready to check your answer. And there you go. Should have gotten 2. 22 is homework. Okay, last example I want to go through is this one. You don't have one of these on your homework, but you might have one on a skill check or test, so I do want to go through it. It's finding rate of change, but on a graph instead of using an equation or a table. So on the graph, there will be 2 points that you care about. We want to know what these points are. So I'm just going to approximate. That looks like 6, 60, pretty close. And that one looks like 21, 90, pretty close. So I've got those. Now I'm going to do same equation. My second y value is 90. First y value is 60. Second x value is 21. First y value is 6. That gives me 30 over 15, which is 2. Now, one other thing about this last problem. This is a story problem, which means I need units in my answers. So if I look at this, the 90 and 60 are in meters. I can tell from the graph right here. The 21 and the 6 are minutes. So when I write my answer, I'm going to have the numerator, units, meters, have this magic word per, which means divide, and then the second unit, minutes. And that's my final answer. We would actually do the same thing on this table because it was also a story problem. So the 51 and the 60.4 are billions of dollars. And the bottom one is years. So we'd say negative 2.2 billions of dollars per year. And that would be our final answer. So that's it for average rate of change. Get your homework done, and I'll check it off with your sticker.